Okay, welcome to Module 8 in Human Resources. And this week we're going to have a pretty light week. I am going to have no Dropbox, so I just want you to read Chapter 8 on training and development, and then take the Chapter 8 quiz. And then there's a couple of videos I want you to watch on sexual harassment. One is from your business, and the other one's an actual training video, but I want you to do your discussion based on these. This week there is no Dropbox assignment, but I am going to be getting a rubric out to you probably on Monday evening about the paper that's coming due, and I'll discuss that a little bit more. In that paper, like I said, I want you to write an interesting paper that uses a human resource lens and looks and looks at a topic and presents it to the readers. So this paper is going to actually be read by other students in the class, and this is replacing a presentation that I do in my face-to-face class. With this, like I said before, you can get a little creative with this and have a little bit of fun. I will have a rubric. It's going to be pretty vague and holistic, but I haven't had a problem in the past of people doing a bad job. In fact, I've had better results with you getting a little creative with these papers. So I will have that rubric out to you and some basic guidelines on Monday evening, and you can discuss with me on D2L any questions you may have, and I will check that general discussion box every single night and keep on top of that. So this week we're having our discussion, and this is on a really important issue for business, actually for everything. It's on sexual harassment. So there's two videos I want you to watch. One is from MSNBC's Your Business, and it's about taking measures to prevent sexual harassment in the workplace. And this is important whether you're going to be an HR professional or not to understand. So even if you're working in a really small business and you only have 2 or 3 employees, it's still something that's very important to train. And I can't stress this enough. There is a major problem with this, and you need to have some kind of plan on how to train for it. Like I said, even a very small business with a couple of employees should still implement some kind of sexual harassment training and train for how to utilize the policies. So the first video is going to get into some suggestions for small businesses. Like I said, these ideas from human resources are not just limited to people who are going to be HR professionals. If you're going to be a manager or sole proprietor and have a small company and start bringing people on, you're still going to have to take into consideration these human resource questions, and this is a very serious one to pay attention to. The next is a video on what sexual harassment is. It's very standard. However, I do recommend you watch it and try to think of, like I said, a way to effectively implement sexual harassment training. And the key word is effectively. There's a lot of companies that do sexual harassment training, and they don't do a very good job at it, and people don't pay attention, and there's consequences to that too. So I want you to think of a way to make this interesting and effective. Again, for this, I'm going to have the availability for you to vote on good suggestions. So if you have any questions, go ahead and send me an email. Like I said, I'm going to have some information for you on the paper, so you'll have that on Monday night. If there are questions, go ahead and go to the communications tab. I did miss, and I do apologize. There was a question posted on there last week, and it took me about 5 days to get back to it. I'm really sorry about that. But I will, pay better attention to that tab and get back to you right away on those questions. So I'm sure any question you have, someone else in the class has as well. Thank you, and have a good week.